What's up everybody, Mario here with Nickel Prints. Today we're going to learn how to print DTF transfers. So what is DTF? DTF is simply direct to film. So you do just that, you print directly to the film. In order to be able to make DTF prints or transfers, you're going to need either a DTF printer or a DTG printer. For these transfers, we're going to be using the Ricoh RI1000 DTG printer. That is Ricoh's direct-to-garment printer. So without wasting any time, just go straight into it. Let's start off by opening our production server software, otherwise known as Colorgate. Once we have that open, let's go ahead and locate our files and drag them over. Now that we have both our files loaded up, let's go ahead and adjust the settings. I'm going to double click our first one. I always like to start at the beginning, so I'm going to click on the workflow tab. From there, I always like to apply cost calculation because I like to know how much I pay to make these prints. There is a special way to set this up. I'll be covering that in a separate video, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Alright, let's go on over to the printer tab. From here, I'm actually going to go ahead and switch this over to the large platen because that's what I'm going to be using. Under job, I'm going to uncheck scale 1:1. I'm going to leave proportional checked because I want everything to resize equally. Now my DTF sheet is a 13x19, but I'm not going to input those settings because it's going to be really hard lining up the sheet with the platen. So having that in mind, I'm going to give myself about an inch of wiggle room. So I'm going to aim for 12x18 or whatever the dimension is below that in order to keep everything proportional. So height, let's go ahead and put 18, which gives us a width of 14. So that's not going to really add up because the width of the sheet is actually 13 inches. So let's go ahead and switch this over to 12. All right, that's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and center it as well. Make sure it is perfectly centered on the platen. With a DTF print, you always need to mirror it. Always make sure you click on mirror output. Also here on the y-axis, let's give it a value of 2. So it goes down 2 inches. So we have some room to be able to pick it up. Let's go on over to color tab. There under media, I'm going to choose DTF RI1000. After that, according to Ricoh, you're supposed to go into the settings tab. Under white, switch it over from whatever its default is to brightness. Now for the minimum for the brightness, they said to set it at 2. And always make sure your layers are set from C to white, which means it'll lay down the color layer first and then the white layer. In a DTF print, the color is always supposed to be laid down first and then the white, while printing DTG will lay down the white and then the color. Another thing that you're supposed to change according to Ricoh is under the color correction tab, you're supposed to click on the white. And then you were supposed to change something here. I can't exactly remember what it was. That option was never available to me. These 4 options have always been grayed out no matter what I tried, no matter what I changed. So I just left that as is. And I haven't had any issues, so I just leave it as is. Then under rip, I don't want to do any of these. I'm not going to remove the background or any of that. Job data, I don't mess with that either. And that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and click OK. There we go. Now let's do the same thing for our other image. All right, now we have both of those ready. Let's go ahead and right click and print on each one of them. All that does is convert it to a file that your DTG machine can read. After both of them are quote unquote printed, they're going to go to your default file folder. So here I have them loaded up. I'm going to transfer them to my USB driver. And now, let's go print. I'm going to start by removing the default medium platen and putting on the big old large platen. Now I'm going to set my DTF sheet in the middle, as centered as possible. Let's take our USB drive, go ahead and plug it into the port in the front. Locate our file. We have a little preview there. I'm going to go ahead and lower my platen. Set it all the way to 0. Once we're ready to print, let's go ahead and hit set. It's going to stop a couple times. We're going to adjust the platen again until this orange square turns white. There we go. Now let's hit return and set again. Might have to do it one more time. There we go. I was told by Ricoh that if you get a white square instead of an orange square, just give it one big turn and then set it again. Now that we have the transfer printed, let's go ahead and powder it. Start by putting my transfer here in the middle and putting some powder right over that. And we're just going to put it all over the image to make sure that we get a nice even coat. Now once we have the entire image coated, let's drop off the excess. And then give it a tap in the back, or a few taps shall I say, in the back. to get rid of all the extra excess, all the loose powder that we have on there. So far, that's what it looks like. Now let's put it on the heat press. Now I'm going to make the heat press as loose as possible. That's as open as it can go. What I'm going to be doing is, I have a stack of 10 business cards, as well as 4 pieces of foam from an old heat press that I cut up. I'm going to stack the foam on top of the business cards, and put them on each corner of the press. Just obviously make sure not to touch any ink. Alright, now we are ready to press. I'm going to be pressing it for 100 seconds at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the time is up, let's try to open up the heat press as easy as possible. And there we have it. Now the way that you'll know that they're cured is if you look really closely, you'll see that it has a nice little orange peel texture. That's really the best way to describe it. That's the way that everybody describes it. It just looks like the skin of an orange. It's got the little roughness, all those little bumps. Make sure that there's no powder on here. Still no crystallized powder. These transfers can be used on pretty much anything, such as cotton t-shirts, polyester t-shirts, hard surfaces such as wood. There are a ton of different applications that you can use DTF transfers for. And the best part, they're super durable. These are one of the most durable transfers out there. Not necessarily the ones that I print over at necoprints.com in particular, but just DTF transfers overall are extremely durable. And that's my process to print a DTF transfer. If you're interested in getting any custom DTF transfers, you can go to my website, necoprints.com. There I have custom DTF transfers that you can upload your own artwork to, and you can use code FIRSTRUN for 10% off your first order. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys like this video. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.